please watch Sora no Oto. I know it's 10 years old, but I feel like no one talked about it, even then. I don't watch a lot of anime now, because while Netflix Japan has a lot of anime, it's all in Japanese. Sure, I speak and understand Japanese, but it feels like homework, you know? I actually gotta focus and not have the TV on passively while I scroll through Twitter, play 3 games at the same time. Sure, I'm missing out on a lot of stuff like... But I also spent all of my high school years binging almost anything that came out. And I mean almost anything. So from that garbage pile, I bring you a gem. And that gem is called Sora no Oto, otherwise known as Sound of the Sky. While the genre of Sora no Oto falls somewhat within cute girls doing cute things, the short series presents you with the beautiful country of Helvetia, a super far future arcduchy that feels very European peninsula but is technically geographically Japan. The whole future bit is done very interestingly, as the characters exist in a very pre-modern World War I-ish kind of society, but have to contend with and live amongst the scars of a previous much more advanced society. There's very small moments where we see little quirks of this old society in Helvetia. The main character, Kanata, has a Japanese name, and she signs her name using the kanji for it, but says she can't read a simple Japanese book she finds some episode later. In other moments, we pull away from the setting and are faced with the current state of war and how
War never changes.
And the consequences of said war. One of the characters in the main cast of 5 did a big bad boo-boo. Something very much against the Geneva Convention kind of boo-boo. Through her eyes, we can see how she copes and doesn't cope with her past actions. I can't say for sure if their depiction of her PTSD and the like is properly done, because I wasted 5 years in university learning how to be a weeb instead of being a competent member of society. But the short story beat seems to express the expectation placed on her, and her guilt as well. She's not the only one though. While all characters are children, a couple of them are late teens at best, they all have their own morals and motivations to be enlisted in this war. And we see them come to terms and resolve individual conflicts, which results in pretty satisfying micro arcs of sorts for the viewer. And in even briefer moments, we're left to wonder, what in God's name happened to the society before them? Ruins are one thing, but giant spider mechs and beheaded angel fossils are a different kind of messed up. Honestly, I could talk up about my ideas about how this fits into the deep lore of this decade-old unpopular show, but it's best that you watch it for yourself and marvel in it, take it in. If you want to think it isn't that deep, go ahead, because it really isn't. But this kind of thing is what draws me to a piece of media. Aside from that, the characters are sweet and likable. The show was a short run, only 12 episodes with some OVAs. Note on that later. But every other episode is a portrait of a specific character, their lives, and their experiences. When we get a deeper look into the characters, we learn a lot more about the world they live in, and vice versa. I feel this is a very important point in particular, because this is where it can stray from the cute girls doing cute things genre. Okay, sure, war doesn't fit well in this genre, but besides that, in the genre, we usually don't have characters with much depth. Though, to be honest, if you're watching cute girls doing cute things for depth, you're kind of in the wrong genre. Like, 9 times out of 10, like, come on, what are you doing? All the characters in Sora no Woto have motives and opinions and the like. Not just one character that likes sweets and another who's a tomboy. Personally, it's a relief to see characters fleshed out like this, especially considering what they go through. If I may, I'll go as far as saying that it's a deconstruction of the genre. On the topic of OVAs, I feel I have to say and reiterate that the characters are children through and through. While episode 13 is a nice capstone to the series, episode 7.5 is a weird one to rewatch as an adult.
ここは何なんですか？
ここは蒸留所さ。我々はここで作った密造酒を資金源にしていた。
そんなもののために、その秘密を守るためにノエルちゃんやユミナさんを犠牲にしたんですか？
そうだ。
It's kind of wild to think about, but when I watched this as it came out 10 years ago, I was the same age as these characters, and watching 7.5 then, I was like, haha, that's funny. But watching it now as an adult is,
その狂乱の中、ただ一人正気を保つという拷問のような立場を強いられることになったのである。ねえクレハちゃん、もっぺん一緒にお風呂入らない？ねえ。
I warn you that it is very much a fan pandering kind of episode, but I'm not about to discourse on that because that needs its own 40-minute long video that I don't have the capacity, emotionally, physically, time-wise, to make a script for. The last thing I will say, though, is that the music is absolutely phenomenal. The song Amazing Grace is somewhat central to the story, to the point that if you don't like the song, this whole anime isn't for you. But I think the rendition they made for this series is without a doubt the best I have ever heard. The rest of the soundtrack gives life to the scenes of the town in ruins, blending seamlessly with the visual setting to immerse the viewer. I myself loved the soundtrack so much, I got it and then used it when I was DMing some D&D sessions with my friends. It really sets the mood, especially considering that music is somewhat tangentially related to the plot. And not to mention the opening. Calafina is a band that has been central to anime songs for a long while, but before they really hit home with the opening for Madoka Magica, they had a lot of success in shows like this. The ending, on the other hand, is really fitting for the cute girl side of this until it's really not.